Imagine pouring your life savings into your son's lavish wedding feast, only for him to banish you to the kitchen as the help, because he's ashamed of your rough hands. Zuhal's story will shock you. Hit like if you think she deserved sweet revenge, and stick around to see how she served it cold.
Thank you, Eliza, for giving me this space. After all I've endured, sharing my truth feels like finally stepping into the light. Let's get into it. The Grand Metropolitan Hotel's kitchen gleams like a cathedral of steel and marble, and tonight, it's my sanctuary. I slide the final garnish, a delicate sprig of fresh dill, onto the 7th course of what I know will be the most exquisite wedding banquet this city has ever seen. 24 hours of prep work, 43 years of perfecting these recipes, and 62 years of life have led to this moment. The lamb is glazed to perfection, the saffron rice glistens like scattered gold, and my signature baklava towers rise like edible architecture. 7 courses for 200 guests. $37,000 of my own money poured into every detail because this is my son's wedding day, and I wanted to give him something worthy of the man I raised him to be. Anne, Emir calls from behind me, using the Turkish word for mother that once made my heart swell. I turn, expecting to see pride in his eyes, maybe even tears at the beauty of what I've created for him. Instead, his face is tight with something I don't recognize: embarrassment, shame. We need to talk. His voice is clipped, professional, the same tone he uses with difficult clients at his law firm. My hands are still dusted with powdered sugar from the dessert course. I wipe them on my apron, suddenly aware that I'm still wearing my kitchen whites while he stands before me in his perfectly tailored tuxedo. The food is ready, Oglum, I say, using the endearment that means my son. Everything is perfect, your guests will. That's what I need to discuss. He steps closer, lowering his voice. Your hands are too rough for polite company. Don't embarrass me. When people ask who you are, you're the kitchen help. The words hit me like a physical blow. I actually step backward, my hip bumping against the steel prep counter where I've just finished arranging his wedding feast. I'm sorry, what did you say? You heard me, Anne. The Ashfords, Sophia's family, they're very particular about appearances. I need you to stay back here, in the kitchen, where you belong. Where I belong? The phrase echoes in my head as I stare at this man I carried for 9 months, nursed through fevers, cheered at every graduation. This man whose success I built with these same rough hands he's now ashamed of. My mind floods with 20 years of memories, each one now tainted by his words. I was 42 when his father died, left with a grieving teenager and $17 in our checking account. While other mothers were joining book clubs and planning garden parties, I was working triple shifts, catering breakfast events at dawn, lunch meetings at noon, dinner parties until midnight. Every late night, every burned finger, every dollar saved, it was all for him. I remember the night he got into law school, how he worried about tuition. Don't worry about money, Oglum, I told him, already calculating which equipment I could sell, which contracts I could take on. I sold my grandmother's gold bracelets, the only things I'd brought from Turkey, to pay his first semester. While he studied, I built an empire he never bothered to understand. Not just the small catering business he thinks I run, but something much bigger. For 15 years, I've been the ghost chef behind Chef Mehmet Özkan's Michelin-starred restaurant. Every signature dish, every innovative technique, every recipe that made him famous, they flow from these rough hands Emir is now ashamed of. The irony burns. The Ashfords probably ate at Özkan's restaurant last week, praising the very food I created while their future son-in-law planned to hide me in the kitchen. I funded Emir's internships when they paid nothing. I bought his first suits, his first briefcase, even his first apartment security deposit. When he worried about impressing senior partners, I stayed up all night helping him prepare presentations, my culinary precision translating perfectly to legal strategy. You're going to be someone important, I used to tell him. I just never imagined that importance would require erasing me completely. Through the kitchen's service window, I watch my son glad-handing with the Ashford family. Sophia's father, a real estate mogul worth more than most small countries, claps Emir on the shoulder with obvious approval. I move closer to hear their conversation, my heart still reeling from his cruel command. You know, Emir, Mr. Ashford's voice carries clearly, I admire a self-made man. In this day and age, it's rare to find someone who's built their success without handouts. My son's laugh is confident, practiced. I did it all myself. No handouts, no help from anyone, pure determination. The lie is so complete, so casual, that for a moment I wonder if I imagined the last 20 years. Did I dream those midnight hours packing catering orders to pay his law school loans? Did I hallucinate selling my jewelry, my car, my mother's wedding ring? Started from nothing, Emir continues, warming to his theme. Worked my way through school, built my practice from the ground up. I believe in earning what you get. Mrs. Ashford beams at him. That's exactly the kind of man we want for our Sophia, someone with real character. Real character, I taste bile in my throat. Sophia herself nods adoringly, her 26-year-old face glowing with admiration for the man she thinks she married. She has no idea she's wearing a wedding dress paid for by the woman her husband just relegated to kitchen help. The very woman whose rough hands crafted every bite of food that will touch her lips tonight. I watch Emir accept their praise, his chest puffed with pride over accomplishments that exist only because I sacrificed everything to make them possible. He's not just hiding me, he's actively rewriting history, painting himself as some bootstrap success story, while the woman who provided the bootstraps stands invisible in the kitchen. From the service entrance, I have a perfect view of the reception I planned and paid for. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over tables draped in ivory silk. Centerpieces of white roses and eucalyptus, my design, create an elegant forest throughout the ballroom. The band plays softly while guests admire the opulent setting. This was supposed to be my moment too. For months, I imagined walking into this room on Emir's arm. I pictured him introducing me with pride. This is my mother, Zuhal. She made all of this possible. I saw myself dancing with him, accepting congratulations from his colleagues, being embraced by his new family. I imagined him introducing me with pride. Instead, I'm invisible in my own gift to him. Sophia glides between tables in her custom gown, a confection of French lace and silk that cost more than most people make in 6 months. I paid for that dress. I paid for her bouquet, her shoes, even the delicate pearl earrings that belonged to my own mother. The Ashfords hold court at the head table, regaling other guests with stories of their daughter's fairy tale romance. They speak of destiny, of perfect matches, of how wonderful it is when two successful people find each other. If only they knew the truth. That their son-in-law's success was built on the calloused hands of a Turkish immigrant woman who's currently hiding in the kitchen like some shameful secret. The first course, my pomegranate and walnut appetizer, begins making its way to the tables. I watch guests' faces light up as they taste it. A woman at table 6 actually closes her eyes in pleasure. A man at table 12 calls the waiter over to ask about the recipe. They're praising my work while I'm banned from their presence. My phone buzzes against my hip. The text message makes my heart skip. Ms. Kaplan, Chef Erskine needs to finalize the partnership agreement tonight. The investors are pressuring for a decision. Chef is at a charity gala in the hotel's main ballroom and wants to meet in person to finalize. He will come to your location at 10 p.m. This is your only window. I read it twice, my hands trembling slightly. For 15 years, I've been the invisible genius behind Erskine's empire. Tonight, he's offering me something I never dared dream of, a full partnership in a new restaurant venture. Not as a ghost chef, but as an equal partner with my name on the door. 50% ownership, creative control, international expansion. My recipes, my techniques, my vision, finally attributed to me instead of hidden behind someone else's reputation. The contract has been in negotiation for months, but Erskine's investors have been pushing for a decision. Tonight's deadline isn't coincidence, it's necessity. If I don't sign by midnight, the offer goes to another chef. I glance at the clock, 7:15 p.m. Less than 3 hours to decide whether to step out of the shadows forever. The irony is exquisite. While my son denies my existence, one of Istanbul's most celebrated chefs wants to make me his equal partner. While Emir calls me kitchen help, the culinary world is ready to crown me a queen. But there's a problem. Chef Erskine is here, in this very hotel, attending a charity gala in the main ballroom. The same ballroom where Emir's reception is happening. The same reception where I've been ordered to remain invisible. If I meet with Erskine, there's no way to avoid the wedding party. The kitchen, the ballroom, the private dining rooms, they're all connected. Any movement between them risks exposure. I stand at the crossroads of my life, literally and figuratively. To my left, the service door leads to the reception where my son celebrates his new life while denying my existence. To my right, the main corridor leads to a future where I finally claim credit for my life's work. I can stay invisible and protect his perfect day, or I can show him who he's really betrayed. The choice should be simple. After 20 years of sacrifice, after being reduced to kitchen help at my own son's wedding, after watching him claim credit for accomplishments built on my labor, the choice should be obvious. But he's still my son. Still the little boy who used to help me roll dolmas, who would fall asleep at the kitchen table while I worked late into the night. Still the young man who cried in my arms when his father died, who promised he'd always take care of me. My phone buzzes again, another text from Erskine's lawyer. Chef is asking if you've decided. This opportunity won't wait. Through the service window, I see Emir laughing with his groomsmen, completely at ease in his lie. He's moved on from denying my contributions to actively enjoying the fruits of them. The wedding I funded, the success I built, the life I made possible, he's savoring it all while keeping me locked away like a shameful secret. The kitchen staff bustles around me, preparing to serve the second course. They treat me with the respect of a master chef, following my directions without question. They know who I really am, even if my own son has forgotten. The clock reads 7:45 p.m. In 2 hours and 15 minutes, Chef Erskine will walk through these doors expecting an answer that will change my life forever. And I still don't know if I'm brave enough to let my son's perfect wedding crumble under the weight of the truth he's been so desperate to hide. I smooth my apron one final time and step through the service door into the reception hall. The chandeliers cast everything in golden light, and the sound of cultured conversation fills the air. I need to handle this delicately, find Sophia, explain the seating arrangement confusion, and resolve this quietly before anyone notices. I spot her near the head table, radiant in her French lace gown, accepting congratulations from a group of older women who are clearly society matrons. Taking a deep breath, I approach with what I hope is a warm, motherly smile. "Sophia, dear," I say softly, touching her elbow, "could I speak with you for just a moment?" She turns, and for a split second, I see something flicker across her face, not recognition exactly, but assessment. Her eyes travel from my face down to my simple black dress and back up again. "Yes," the word is clipped, waiting. There seems to be a small mix-up with the seating chart. I'm listed at table 12, but I believe that might be an error. As Emir's mother, I assumed I'd be at the family table with you both. Sophia's perfectly glossed lips curve into something that might be called a smile, if you didn't look too closely at her eyes. "Table 12 is correct." She pauses, letting that sink in. "It's in the back corner near the kitchen entrance. You'll be seated with the other vendors." "Vendors?" The word comes out as barely a whisper. Sophia looks me up and down again, this time with cold deliberation. "Your place is where my husband says it is. We appreciate your service." The dismissal is absolute. She turns back to her admirers, effectively erasing me from existence. I stand there for a moment, feeling the heat rise in my cheeks before retreating toward the kitchen. Table 12, with the vendors. My own son has relegated me to sit with the florist and the photographer while he basks in praise at the head table. The MC's voice booms across the reception hall as I hover near the service entrance, still reeling from Sophia's casual cruelty. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our traditional mother-son dance. Will the groom and his mother please take the floor?" My heart leaps despite everything. This is my chance, our chance. Surely Emir won't deny me this moment. Every wedding has a mother-son dance. It's sacred, traditional, expected. I step forward from the shadows, my hands trembling slightly as I smooth my dress. Around the room, guests turn expectantly, smiling at the anticipated sweetness of the moment. Cameras are already rising. Emir's eyes find mine across the crowded room. For a heartbeat, I see the little boy who used to dance on my feet in our tiny kitchen while Turkish folk songs played on the radio. Then his face hardens. He makes a sharp gesture across his throat, a brutal cut-it motion directed at the MC. The announcer falters, clearly confused. He looks from Emir to me and back again, his practiced smile wavering. "Ladies and gentlemen," he says, his voice artificially bright as he improvises, "we'll be moving directly to the father-daughter dance instead." The music shifts. Sophia's father steps forward, beaming, as his daughter glides into his arms. The crowd applauds warmly, but I catch several confused glances in my direction. I'm left standing alone in the middle of the dance floor, mortified before 300 guests. My son has just publicly rejected me, denied me even this small moment of recognition. I retreat to the kitchen, my face burning with shame. I'm arranging wine glasses on a service tray when I hear a familiar voice behind me. Zuhal Kaplan, is that really you?" I turn to see my distant cousin Aish, whom I haven't seen in nearly 5 years. She's dressed elegantly, clearly a guest rather than staff, and her face lights up with genuine warmth. "Aish, despite everything, I'm grateful for a friendly face. What are you doing here?" "The Ashfords are clients of my husband's firm, but look at you." She embraces me warmly. "I had no idea you were Emir's mother. I should have made the connection with the last name." My stomach clenches as I see Emir approaching, having noticed our reunion. Through the service entrance, I catch sight of him speaking to Aish, and my heart sinks as I hear his words carry through the opening. "This is the kitchen help," he says, his voice carrying clearly to where I stand. "She's done a wonderful job, hasn't she?" I watch Aish's face freeze in confusion as she looks from Emir toward the kitchen, clearly recognizing me, but unable to reconcile what she's hearing with what she knows. "Kitchen help, but she's your mother?" Emir's laugh is sharp. "I think you're mistaken. This woman works for the catering company." The lie is so bold, so complete, that even I'm stunned by it. Aish stares in my direction, clearly recognizing me, but unable to reconcile what she's hearing with what she knows. I can't speak, can't breathe. My own son has just denied my existence to family. I'm restocking wine glasses at the bar when a distinguished man in an expensive tuxedo approaches. I recognize him as Charles Ashford, Sophia's father, the real estate mogul worth more than most small countries. "Excuse me," he says, his tone pleasant but clearly addressing someone he considers staff. "The service tonight has been exceptional, truly outstanding." I nod politely, not trusting my voice. After Emir's latest humiliation, I'm not sure I can handle another interaction. "Here," he continues, pressing a crumpled $50 bill into my hands. "Good work. Make sure the glasses stay full." He pats my shoulder in the condescending way wealthy people touch service workers, not unkindly, but with the casual superiority of someone who's never questioned their place in the world's hierarchy. I stare down at the money in my palm. $50. A tip for the kitchen help, who's actually the mother of the groom. The woman who paid for his daughter's wedding dress, her bouquet, this entire reception. Charles Ashford walks away, completely unaware that he's just tipped the woman whose sacrifice made his son-in-law's success possible. He has no idea that the help he just patronized could buy and sell his precious real estate empire with the restaurant partnership sitting in my phone. The bill feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds. I'm still standing at the bar, clutching the $50 bill, when Sophia's mother Victoria approaches with obvious excitement. "Charles, darling, you'll never guess who's here." Her voice carries that particular pitch of social triumph. "Harrison Blackwell is in attendance." My blood turns to ice. Harrison Blackwell, the most feared food critic in the country. His reviews can make or break restaurants overnight. His Sunday Times column reaches millions. "The food critic," Charles looks intrigued. "What's he doing here?" Apparently, he was at the charity gala upstairs and heard about our reception. He said the appetizers were transcendent and wants to feature the entire menu in his Sunday column. Through the crowd, I catch sight of Blackwell himself, a thin man with sharp eyes, already taking photos of the second course with a professional camera. He's dictating notes into his phone, his expression intense with concentration. He said these appetizers are transcendent and wants to feature the entire menu. Victoria continues, practically glowing. Can you imagine? Our Sophia's wedding in the Sunday Times. My mind races. If Blackwell reviews this meal, if he publishes those photos, Chef Erskine will see them. He'll recognize every dish, every technique, every signature element that makes my cooking distinctive. The partnership offer comes with a non-compete clause. If he discovers I've been catering on the side, especially at this level, the deal dies instantly. Everything I've worked for, everything I've built, could crumble because my son decided to humiliate me at his own wedding. I retreat to the kitchen, my mind spinning with the implications. Harrison Blackwell is here, documenting everything. Any confrontation with Emir now will be witnessed, photographed, potentially published. One wrong move and I lose everything, my son's respect and my life's work. The partnership with Chef Erskine isn't just about money or recognition. It's about finally stepping out of the shadows, claiming credit for 15 years of culinary innovation. It's about having my name on a door instead of hiding behind someone else's reputation. But if I cause a scene, if I expose the truth about who really created this feast, Blackwell will capture every moment. The story won't be about my culinary genius. It'll be about family drama, about a mother so desperate for attention she disrupted her son's wedding. Chef Erskine values discretion above all else. He's built his reputation on mystery, on the carefully cultivated image of the solitary genius. If he sees me splashed across the Sunday Times in a family scandal, he'll run from our partnership faster than a health inspector from a dirty kitchen. I'm trapped between accepting this humiliation and risking my entire future. My phone buzzes. Ms. Kaplan, Chef Erskine is asking about your decision. He needs confirmation within the hour. The clock on the kitchen wall reads 8:45 p.m. 75 minutes until my deadline. 75 minutes to decide whether to stay invisible or claim my rightful place. Through the service window, I watch the reception continue in blissful ignorance of my internal crisis. Guests are posting photos and videos on social media, tagging the hotel, praising the incredible food. Harrison Blackwell moves through the crowd like a predator, his camera capturing every detail. I watch him photograph the lamb course from 3 different angles, dictating notes about the innovative saffron reduction and perfectly balanced spice profile. I must discover the identity of the chef responsible for this remarkable culinary artistry, I hear him tell Victoria Ashford. This level of sophistication is extraordinary. Victoria beams, gesturing toward the head table where Emir holds court. Well, our son-in-law has exquisite taste. He selected all the vendors personally. My son accepts the praise with gracious modesty, as if he spent months perfecting these recipes instead of dismissing my work as just cooking. He's taking credit not just for selecting me, but by implication, for the food itself. The irony is suffocating. The very dishes that could destroy my future if attributed to me are being praised as someone else's achievement. I'm simultaneously too important and too invisible, too dangerous and too dismissed. Guests continue sharing photos online. #Ashford Kaplan wedding is trending locally. Every post, every share, every comment increases the chances that someone in the culinary world will see this and recognize my signature techniques. The trap tightens with every camera flash. I'm carrying a tray of coffee cups to the service station when I hear Emir's voice cutting through the ambient noise near the photographer's setup. Something in his tone makes me pause behind the decorative screen that separates the service area from the main reception. "Marcus, I need you to handle something for me," Emir says to the wedding photographer, his voice low but clear. "Those shots from the ceremony prep, I need you to delete any that include her." My hands tighten on the tray. Her. "I'm sorry, which shot specifically?" Marcus sounds confused, scrolling through images on his camera's display. "The woman in the kitchen outfit. Crop her out of any family groupings, and absolutely no staff in the formal shots." Emir's voice carries that same cold professionalism I heard earlier. "We want to keep this classy." Through the screen's gaps, I watch Marcus scroll through dozens of images. My heart sinks as I recognize them, candid shots of me arranging flowers in the bridal suite, adjusting Sophia's train, even one of me wiping away a tear during the ceremony. Moments I thought were precious memories being systematically erased. This one too, Marcus holds up his camera, showing a photo of me embracing Emir before the ceremony. In the image, I'm looking up at him with such love, such pride, he's even smiling back. Especially that one, Emir says without hesitation. Delete it. I watch my son point to image after image, methodically erasing me from the permanent record of his wedding day. Not just hiding me from the guests, removing all evidence that I was ever here, that I ever mattered. The coffee cups rattle on my tray as my hands begin to shake. He's not just ashamed of me in the moment, he wants to pretend I never existed at all. I can't breathe, can't think. The systematic erasure of my presence feels like watching my own murder in slow motion. But then my phone buzzes again, Chef Erskine's lawyer, asking for my decision. The partnership. The future, my chance to finally matter. Maybe if Emir understands what I've accomplished, what I'm being offered, he'll see me differently. Maybe he'll realize he's not just hiding his mother, he's hiding a culinary genius. I find him near the bar, accepting congratulations from a group of his law firm colleagues. My heart pounds as I approach, clutching my phone like a lifeline. Emir, I say quietly, touching his elbow, can I speak with you privately? It's important. He excuses himself with visible irritation, following me to a quiet corner near the service entrance. I take a deep breath and show him the text message. This is from Chef Mehmet Erskine's lawyer, I begin, my voice trembling with hope and desperation. He's offering me a full partnership in a new restaurant, 50% ownership, my name on the door. Emir glances at the phone screen, his expression unreadable. I've been the ghost chef behind his Michelin-starred restaurant for 15 years, I continue, the words tumbling out faster now. Every signature dish, every innovation that made him famous, that was me. This partnership, it could change everything for our family. I'd finally get credit for. Stop, the word cuts through my explanation like a blade. Just stop. I fall silent, searching his face for any sign of pride, surprise, even basic interest. This is fantasy, Mom. You're delusional if you think you belong in high-end restaurants. The words hit me like physical blows. Fantasy, delusional. But the contract is real, I whisper. Chef Erskine is here tonight. He wants to finalize. I don't care if Gordon Ramsay himself wants to hire you, Emir snaps. You're embarrassing yourself, and me. Something shifts in Emir's expression. A cruel satisfaction, as if my desperate plea has given him permission to say what he's really been thinking. You want to know the truth? His voice drops to a vicious whisper. I'm ashamed of you, not just tonight, always. The words freeze me in place. Your accent, he continues, his voice gaining momentum like a gathering storm. The way you butcher English words, the way you still count in Turkish when you think no one's listening, it's humiliating. I try to speak to defend myself, but he's not finished. Look at your hands, he says, grabbing my wrist and holding it up between us. Rough, scarred, stained with years of kitchen work, these are servants' hands, and that's all you'll ever be, a servant. Emir, please. The words come out in Turkish, my native language emerging in my distress. See, his laugh is sharp and ugly. You can't even speak like a civilized person when you're upset. Do you have any idea how mortifying it is to have colleagues ask about my background? To have to explain that my mother works in a kitchen. Each word is a knife thrust, precise and designed to cause maximum damage. I've spent years building my reputation, creating a life worth living. And you, he looks me up and down with genuine disgust. You're a reminder of everything I've worked to escape. The poverty, the immigrant struggle, the smell of cooking oil and desperation. My vision blurs with tears, but he's still not done. It doesn't matter how fancy you make it, it still reeks of the village you came from. I'm ashamed of your accent, your rough hands, and the fact that you have to work in a kitchen at all. You don't belong in my world. The final words land like a death blow. This isn't just rejection, it's complete annihilation of everything I am, everything I've sacrificed, everything I've built. For the first time, I see my son clearly. Not the boy I raised, not the man I hoped he'd become, but the cruel stranger he actually is. I return to the kitchen on unsteady legs, but something has changed inside me. The tears have stopped. The pleading has ended. In their place, a cold clarity spreads through my chest like winter frost. The kitchen staff looks up as I enter, their faces showing concern at my obvious distress. But I'm not the same broken woman who left here 10 minutes ago. "Carmen," I say quietly to my sous chef, my voice steady despite everything, "I need you to listen carefully." She approaches, her expression alert. Carmen has worked with me for 8 years. She knows when I'm serious. "In 15 minutes, I may give you a signal." I continue, moving to check the dessert stations where my baklava towers wait in perfect formation. "If I do, I need you to coordinate with the entire team. We may be leaving early tonight." Carmen's eyes widen, but she nods. "What kind of signal?" "You'll know it when you see it." I turn to Ahmed, my pastry specialist. "Ahmed, how quickly can we pack the dessert course?" "Pack it?" He looks confused. "But service starts in." "How quickly?" I repeat, my tone brooking no argument. 5 minutes, maybe less if we all work together." "Good." I move through the kitchen, speaking quietly to each team member. To Maria at the sauce station, "Be ready to shut down at a moment's notice." To David on garnish, "Keep the serving platters close. We might need to retrieve them quickly." They exchange glances, but follow my instructions without question. These people have seen me work miracles under pressure. They trust me. My phone shows 9:45 p.m. Chef Erskine will be here in 5 minutes, expecting an answer that will change my life forever. But first, I have one more gift to give my ungrateful son. The kitchen doors swing open at exactly 9:50 p.m., and Chef Mehmet Erskine enters like visiting royalty. Even in his formal evening wear, he commands immediate respect. Conversations stop. Staff straightens unconsciously. "Zuhal," he says warmly, approaching with outstretched hands, "I hope you've had time to consider our proposal." Before I can respond, I see Harrison Blackwell approaching from the reception area, his camera raised. The food critic's eyes light up with recognition as he spots Chef Erskine. "Chef Erskine," Blackwell's voice carries across the space. "What an unexpected honor. I was just documenting this extraordinary cuisine." My heart stops. This is exactly what I feared, the collision of my two worlds at the worst possible moment. Chef Erskine turns, his practiced smile in place. "Mr. Blackwell, how delightful. I trust you're enjoying the evening." "Absolutely transcendent," Blackwell gushes, showing photos on his camera. "I must know, did you create this masterpiece? The technique is absolutely revolutionary." Through the service window, I see Emir approaching, drawn by the commotion. His face shows confusion, then growing alarm as he recognizes the famous chef. This is it, the moment of truth I've been dreading and hoping for in equal measure. Harrison Blackwell scrolls through his photos with obvious excitement, showing them to Chef Erskine. This pomegranate and walnut appetizer, the flavor profile is unlike anything I've experienced. And the lamb course, the way the saffron reduction complements the spice blend, it's pure genius. Chef Erskine examines the images carefully, his expression thoughtful. I hold my breath, knowing he'll recognize my signature techniques immediately. "The presentation is certainly familiar," he says diplomatically. "Familiar," Blackwell presses. "You mean you've seen this style before?" Emir appears at the kitchen entrance, his face pale. He's clearly trying to understand why a celebrity chef and famous critic are in his wedding kitchen, discussing the food he's dismissed as simple catering. "The technique," Chef Erskine continues, his eyes finding mine across the room, is very distinctive, very personal. Blackwell follows his gaze, looking directly at me for the first time. "Are you suggesting this isn't your work?" The question hangs in the air like a sword. Chef Erskine could claim credit, could maintain the fiction that he created these dishes. It would be safer for both of us, would preserve the carefully constructed lies that have protected my partnership offer. Instead, he smiles. "Mr. Blackwell, I think you should meet the real genius behind tonight's feast." Time seems to slow as Chef Erskine gestures toward me. Harrison Blackwell's camera swivels in my direction. Emir stands frozen in the doorway, finally understanding that his careful construction of lies is about to crumble. "This is Zuhal Kaplan," Chef Erskine announces, his voice carrying clearly. "The most talented chef I've ever had the privilege to work with." Blackwell's eyes widen with interest. "You created these dishes." I look at Emir, seeing panic replace his earlier cruelty. He's realizing that his kitchen help is about to be revealed as a culinary master, that his dismissal of my rough hands and servant status is about to become public humiliation. The MC's voice booms from the reception area. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to begin the groom's speech. Emir Kaplan will now address his guests." The timing is perfect and terrible. In 30 seconds, my son will stand before 300 guests to give his speech. The same guests who will soon learn that the kitchen help he's hidden all evening is actually the genius behind their transcendent meal. Chef Erskine steps closer to me, his voice low but urgent. "Zuhal, the partnership papers are in my briefcase. We can sign them right now, make this official. Your talent deserves recognition." Harrison Blackwell raises his camera. "May I photograph you with your creations? This is exactly the kind of story my readers need to hear." Through the service window, I see guests taking their seats, phones out and ready to record Emir's speech. Social media posts waiting to be shared. The perfect storm of exposure I've spent all evening trying to avoid. Emir's eyes meet mine across the kitchen, and for the first time tonight, I see fear in them. Not embarrassment or irritation, but genuine terror that his carefully constructed world is about to collapse. The MC's voice cuts through the dinner conversation. "Ladies and gentlemen, please prepare for our final course, a spectacular dessert presentation that promises to be the crown jewel of this magnificent feast." My baklava towers. 7 different varieties, each representing a different region of Turkey, each perfected over decades of practice. The dessert course that took me 3 days to prepare and represents the culmination of everything I know about my craft. The kitchen staff begins the final preparations. In 10 minutes, my masterpiece will be revealed to the room. Harrison Blackwell will photograph every layer, every delicate phyllo sheet, every drop of honey syrup. My phone buzzes again. "Final notice. Chef Erskine requires your answer tonight. He's prepared to meet you at 10 p.m. sharp to sign the partnership agreement. This is your only window. Please confirm immediately." I look at the clock. 9:58 p.m. 2 minutes until the dessert service begins. 2 minutes until Harrison Blackwell documents the most recognizable dishes in my repertoire. 2 minutes until Chef Erskine expects a response that will change my life forever. Through the service window, I see Emir laughing with his groomsmen, basking in compliments about his excellent taste in vendors. He's completely at ease in his lie, comfortable in the fiction that he's a self-made man who built his success without help from anyone. Especially not from the kitchen help. The doors to the kitchen swing open. The waitstaff prepares to carry out my life's work while I remain hidden in the shadows, invisible and uncredited. Time is running out, and I finally understand that my son hasn't just humiliated me tonight. He's forced me to choose between my love for him and my respect for myself. And for the first time in 20 years, I'm not sure love is enough. I remove my apron with deliberate care, folding it once and setting it on the steel prep counter. My navy dress, the one I bought specifically to be presented as mother of the groom, smooths under my palms as I run my hands down the fabric. For 20 minutes, I've been relegated to kitchen help. Now I walk with quiet purpose toward the reception hall. The service door opens silently under my touch. 300 guests fill the elegant ballroom, crystal glasses catching chandelier light, conversations flowing like expensive wine. The sound gradually diminishes as I move through the crowd, not because I'm making noise, but because people notice me, really notice me, for the first time tonight. My steps are measured, unhurried. I'm not rushing toward confrontation. I'm claiming space that was always rightfully mine. Guests turn in their chairs, following my progress with curious eyes. The woman they dismissed as staff is moving with the confidence of someone who belongs here. I reach the front of the room just as Emir approaches the microphone to give his thank you speech. His face goes white when he sees me, his practiced smile faltering for the first time all evening. "What are you doing?" he hisses in a panicked whisper, his hand moving to block the microphone. But I'm already there, my fingers closing around the microphone, stand with the authority of someone who's commanded kitchens for 30 years. The room falls completely silent, 300 people holding their breath, sensing that something significant is about to happen. This is my point of no return. The moment I claim my space and command the attention that was always mine to take. I lift the microphone from its stand, my movements calm and deliberate. Then I raise my other hand, my work-worn, scarred, supposedly shameful hand, high enough for every guest in the ballroom to see clearly. My son told me tonight that these hands were too rough for polite company, I begin, my voice carrying clearly through the sound system. My accent, the one he called humiliating, rings with dignity and strength. The room is absolutely still. 300 faces stare at my raised hand, seeing the burns from years of professional cooking, the calluses from decades of knife work, the small scars that tell the story of a master craftsman. He told me to hide in the kitchen because I was just the help. I turn my hand slowly, letting the light catch every mark, every line that speaks of honest labor. He was ashamed of these hands. Gasps ripple through the crowd. I see Sophia's face go pale, Charles Ashford's expression shift from confusion to dawning horror. Harrison Blackwell raises his camera instinctively, recognizing a moment of pure human drama. But let me tell you what these hands have done, I continue, my voice growing stronger. These hands raised a son alone after his father died. These hands worked 3 jobs to pay for his education. These hands built a business from nothing to support his dreams. I pause, letting the weight of those words settle over the room like a heavy blanket. These hands paid for his law degree, his apartment, and this entire wedding. Every flower, every piece of crystal, every bite of food you've enjoyed tonight, paid for by these rough, shameful hands. The revelation hits the room like a physical force. I watch 300 faces process the devastating truth that the kitchen help they ignored is actually the mother of the groom. I step closer to the microphone, my voice carrying the authority of someone who's finally decided to speak her truth. My son was ashamed of me. He said I was just the kitchen help. He had me seated with the vendors, refused to dance with me, and ordered the photographer to delete every picture of us together. Each word lands like a hammer blow. So as the person who paid for all of this, I am canceling this banquet. The gift is withdrawn. The room erupts. Sophia shrieks, "You can't do this," her voice cracking with panic. Charles Ashford sits frozen, realizing he tipped the mother of the groom earlier like she was hired help. Harrison Blackwell's camera clicks rapidly, capturing every moment of the most dramatic wedding revelation he's ever witnessed. "This is insane," Sophia's mother Victoria stands, her face flushed with outrage. "You can't just—" "I can," I say calmly into the microphone, "because I paid for it, every single detail. The flowers, the music, the venue, the 7-course meal you've been praising all evening. My money, my gift, my choice to withdraw it." Guests begin pulling out their phones, recording frantically. The #Ashford Kaplan wedding is about to take on a very different meaning than anyone anticipated. Emir finally finds his voice. "Mom, please, you're embarrassing yourself." "No," I cut him off, the microphone amplifying my words across the stunned ballroom. "I'm embarrassing you. There's a difference." The distinction lands with surgical precision. For the first time tonight, the shame is exactly where it belongs. The crowd's murmur dies instantly as Chef Mehmet Özkan steps forward, taking the second microphone from the MC's trembling hands. His presence commands immediate attention. This is a man whose name appears on restaurant signs across 3 continents. "Ladies and gentlemen," he begins, his cultured voice carrying easily through the sound system, "I feel compelled to set the record straight about something far more important than family drama." He turns to face me, his expression filled with genuine respect and admiration. "I am honored to announce my partnership with the most brilliant and principled chef in this country, Zuhal Kaplan." The room explodes in confused chatter. Harrison Blackwell's camera clicks frantically as he realizes he's witnessing culinary history in the making. "For 15 years, Chef Özkan continues, Ms. Kaplan has been the creative genius behind my Michelin-starred restaurant. Every signature dish, every innovative technique that earned me international acclaim, they came from her mind, her hands, her extraordinary talent. Charles Ashford's face goes from confusion to recognition to absolute mortification, as he realizes he tipped a culinary master like she was a cocktail waitress. The transcendent meal you've enjoyed tonight? Chef Erskine gestures toward the elegant table settings. Every course was created by Ms. Kaplan. The pomegranate appetizer, the saffron lamb, the baklava towers waiting in the kitchen, all masterpieces from a chef who deserves to be celebrated, not hidden. I watch Emir's face crumble as he realizes the magnitude of what he's done. He hasn't just insulted his mother, he's publicly humiliated a culinary legend. Tonight, we finalize our partnership for a new restaurant venture. Equal partners, with Ms. Kaplan's name prominently displayed where it belongs, on the door. I take the microphone back, my voice now carrying the authority of someone who's been publicly validated by the culinary world's elite. The kitchen help has been revealed as the master chef, and now it's time for the practical execution of justice. Carmen, I call out in clear, commanding English toward the service entrance. Please pack the hunkar bigindi, the sea bass, and the baklava tower, everything except the bread rolls. Through the service windows, I see my team spring into action with military precision. These are professionals who have worked with me for years, and they respond to my authority without question. Ahmed, collect all serving platters from the tables. Maria, shut down the sauce stations. David, pack the garnish displays. The guests watch in fascination and growing alarm as the most exquisite meal of their lives begins disappearing before their eyes. Waiters move efficiently through the room, collecting plates of half-finished courses while my team packs everything with professional speed. I switch to Turkish, my voice swift and authoritative as I address my Turkish team members. Hershey toplayan, hiçbir şey bırakmayan, sades ekmek ruloları kalacak. Pack everything, leave nothing, only the bread rolls will remain. The sight of a master chef commanding her brigade in multiple languages while systematically dismantling a wedding reception is unlike anything these society guests have ever witnessed. Harrison Blackwell's camera captures every moment, already composing the article that will make this the most famous wedding disaster in the city's history. Within minutes, the elegant reception is reduced to empty tables set with nothing but bread baskets and water glasses. As I reach the ballroom exit, Emir finally breaks from his shocked paralysis. He runs after me, his perfectly styled hair disheveled, his expensive tuxedo wrinkled from the evening's stress. For the first time all night, desperation has replaced his cruel confidence. "Please, Mom, don't do this." The words burst from him as he catches my arm near the door. "I'm sorry, I was wrong, please don't leave like this." I notice he calls me Mom now, not kitchen help, not the woman, but Mom. The word he couldn't bring himself to use when introducing me to his colleagues, the relationship he spent all evening denying. The entire reception watches our final confrontation, 300 guests holding their breath as the drama reaches its climax. Phones record every word, every gesture, every moment of his public humiliation. "I was wrong," he repeats, his voice cracking with genuine panic. "I was stupid and cruel and wrong. Please, you're my mother, you can't just..." I gently remove his hand from my arm, my touch soft but final. When I speak, my voice carries no anger, no bitterness, just the quiet dignity of someone who's finally found her worth. "You wanted me to be the kitchen help," I say clearly, my words carrying across the silent ballroom. "The help is going home. I am no longer your mother. I am Chef Kaplan." The distinction lands with devastating precision. I'm not rejecting him in anger. I'm simply accepting the role he assigned me and following it to its logical conclusion. His face crumbles completely as he realizes what he's lost. Not just my financial support, but my love, my presence, my very identity as his mother. He's gotten exactly what he asked for, and it's destroying him. I walk toward the hotel entrance with Chef Erskine beside me, leaving behind the chaos of the reception I created and destroyed in the span of 30 minutes. Behind us, 300 guests sit in stunned silence, processing the most dramatic reversal of fortune they've ever witnessed. Harrison Blackwell hurries to catch up, his camera still clicking. Ms. Kaplan, I'd be honored to feature your story in this Sunday's Times. The most dramatic culinary revelation I've ever witnessed deserves proper coverage. I pause at the hotel's revolving door, considering his request. 6 hours ago, I would have been terrified of such exposure. Now, I welcome it. I'd be delighted, Mr. Blackwell, but please make sure you spell my name correctly. It's Chef Zuhal Kaplan. He grins, already composing headlines in his mind. This will be front page of the food section. The ghost chef emerges, a mother's justice served cold. As we reach the sidewalk, Chef Erskine produces an elegant leather portfolio from his briefcase. I believe you mentioned you were ready to sign those partnership papers. I look back one final time at the hotel, where my son's reception continues in shambles. Through the windows, I can see guests still sitting at empty tables, probably ordering pizza to salvage their evening. Emir stands alone near the entrance, watching me leave with the expression of someone who's finally understood the true cost of his cruelty. I'm ready to sign those partnership papers, I tell Chef Erskine, my voice steady and sure. For the first time in 30 years, I'm not someone's mother, someone's employee, or someone's shame. I'm exactly who I was always meant to be, a master chef stepping into the light she's earned through decades of excellence, finally claiming the recognition that rough hands and a generous heart have built from nothing. The kitchen help has left the building. Chef Kaplan's real work is just beginning.
Zuhal, your courage in reclaiming your worth after years of sacrifice shows us that true success isn't about erasing your roots. It's about honoring them, no matter how rough they seem. We all face moments where love tests our self-respect. What would you have done in her shoes? Comment below, and if this moved you, like and subscribe for more real stories. I'm Eliza Quinn, and remember, here on Wedding Day Justice, veils off, justice on.